All right, let's dive right in. We're going to break down some really powerful ideas from a Tony Robbins seminar. You know that feeling, right? That massive rush of momentum you get after a breakthrough, only to find it fizzles out. We're going to get into why that happens, and more importantly, how to make those big, positive changes actually stick around for good.
I mean, haven't we all been there? You go to a seminar, you read a game-changing book, or you just have this incredible moment of clarity, and you feel completely unstoppable. You think, this is it. I'm finally on the right path. But then, a few weeks, maybe a few months go by, and you look around and you're right back where you started. How does that happen? That is the big question we are tackling today.
And that leads us to what you could call the momentum paradox. It's this incredible, powerful feeling of moving forward after you've had that aha moment. But here's the catch. It's incredibly fragile. The insight from the seminar is that without a real strategy, most of us just slide right back into our old patterns, and all that amazing energy just vanishes.
So here's the thing you have to get. That moment of inspiration, that's not the finish line. It's not even close. It's the starting gun. The real race is against your own internal wiring. If you really want to make a change last, you first have to understand and then overcome the specific mental habits that are basically designed to drag you back to what's comfortable and familiar, even if it's not what you actually want.
So the material lays out these 5 super common mental patterns that consistently sabotage our progress. Think of these as the culprits, the things that are secretly draining your momentum and keeping you stuck. And you know what? Just understanding them is the first huge step to actually conquering them.
All right, so here they are. First, you've got the my trap. Then, the one purpose myth. Number 3 is the perfection prison. Number 4 is letting your feelings run the show instead of your actions. And finally, getting caught in the old story loop. Let's break down exactly what each of these looks like.
Okay, first up, the my trap. This is so subtle but so powerful. When you say my anxiety or my depression, listen to what you're doing. You're literally hypnotizing yourself. You're taking a temporary feeling, a fleeting pattern, and you're making it a permanent part of who you are. It's part of your identity. And you can't really get rid of something you claim to own, right? The seminar is blunt about this. That kind of language is a death sentence for change.
This quote just nails the second roadblock, which is the one purpose myth. We get totally paralyzed, waiting for some huge, perfect, singular purpose to just appear out of nowhere. And so instead of taking real action right now that could help us, we just spin our wheels. We mistake all that frantic thinking and planning, all that movement, for actual real achievement. But it's not.
Roadblock number 3 is what's called the perfection prison. And I love this reframe. Perfectionism is called the lowest standard you can possibly have. Now, why on earth would that be? Well, think about it. You set this impossible goal that you know deep down you can't reach. So what does that guarantee? It guarantees you're going to beat yourself up, which just destroys your energy and makes sure that eventually you'll stop trying altogether. It's a setup for failure.
Okay, the next one is a little jarring, but it's crucial. It's this belief that our feelings are the ultimate truth. We wait and we wait until we feel motivated to do something. But the argument here is that your actions are what define your life, not your constantly changing emotions. You've got to train yourself to act no matter how you feel. Because honestly, a lot of the time our feelings are just a reaction to our physical state, like being tired or hungry, not some reliable guide to what we really need to do.
And the final roadblock, the old story loop. This is a big one. Every single time you repeat that old story about why you can't do something, your limitations, your past failures, all that baggage, you are literally strengthening the neural pathways in your brain for that story. It becomes just like a scratched CD, stuck on the same sad part of the song, making it almost impossible for your brain to even play a new track.
Okay, enough about the problems, right? Let's talk about what we actually do about them. Because knowing this stuff is one thing, but the whole point is to have a clear, action-first playbook that shifts us from just thinking about the issue to actively fixing it.
The very first major shift in strategy is to adopt what's called an owner mindset. Now, this applies to everything in your life, but it's really easy to see when we talk about money. The number one reason people struggle financially, according to this material, is because they are trained to be consumers in a system that overwhelmingly rewards owners. The whole goal is to stop just buying the products and start investing in the assets that actually produce them.
And this example just illustrates the difference so perfectly. A consumer, right, buys every single new iPhone that comes out. They spend over $22,000 over the years, and what are they left with? A drawer full of old, outdated tech. An owner, on the other hand, takes that exact same money and buys Apple stock instead, investing in the company that actually makes the phone. And the result of that one simple shift? That initial $22,000 investment would now be worth over $326,000. That's the staggering power of being an owner instead of just a consumer. Your phone is paid for 100 times over with a massive profit on top. It's a total game changer.
Now, on a smaller, daily level, we can use this super simple technique called habit stacking. The whole idea is to anchor a new habit you want to create onto an old one you already do without even thinking. So, for example, after you brush your teeth, something you do automatically, you immediately take your vitamins. The old habit becomes the trigger for the new one, which makes building the new routine almost effortless.
But listen, small actions like habit stacking, even big mindset shifts like becoming an owner, they're just the start. They're tactics. For a change to truly last, we have to go way deeper. The seminar emphasizes that the ultimate point of leverage is rewiring your core identity, who you believe you are at the deepest level.
So why is identity so incredibly powerful? Well, this quote explains it perfectly. Change requires emotional intensity. You can't just think your way into a new life. I mean, think about it. You remember deeply emotional events, like where you were on 9/11, because the information was fused with intense emotion. We have to apply that exact same principle to the beliefs we want to change about ourselves.
So how do we actually do that? Well, we go right back to that scratch CD metaphor. To install a new, empowering belief, you first have to destroy the old one. You literally have to scratch the CD neurologically. You do that by disrupting the old, limiting pattern with so much emotional force that it just can't play in your mind anymore. You break the loop. And this is done through what the source material calls incantations. Now, you can think of them as affirmations, but with your entire body and all your energy behind them. It's about shouting declarations with total, absolute emotional commitment. Phrases like, I am the voice, and I will lead, not follow, stop being just words. They become physiological commands that actually condition a brand new identity right into your nervous system. And finally, all of these tools, overcoming the roadblocks, building new habits, rewiring your identity, they all need a target to aim for. They have to be in service of a powerful, exciting, compelling vision for your future. This is your ultimate why. This idea is beautifully connected to the profound wisdom of Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust. He observed that the people who survived the concentration camps weren't necessarily the strongest physically, but the ones who had a reason to live, some meaningful future they were absolutely committed to creating.
And that's really the key to everything. You see, willpower is about pushing yourself forward. It's hard work, but a compelling future pulls you. When your why is strong enough, you can get through almost any how. That vision becomes the ultimate fuel, making all the discipline and sacrifice feel less like a chore and more like a privilege.
So, we'll leave you with this question. The tools are here. The path is pretty clear. That old limiting story that's been on repeat doesn't have to play anymore. So the real question is, with that CD scratched and a blank slate right in front of you, what new story are you going to write?